Take a look as the sun is shining again as the end of Easter is a little bit drier than it started. Find out what to expect for the rest of the night. And developing this evening, President Donald Trump says the war in Iran's about to get a lot more violent. Find out his new deadline and what he has planned. But first today, we are learning that Triad radio personality Renee Vaughn has died. I'm Ben Briscoe. 97.1 QMG confirmed the news earlier today. Leaders recognize Vaughn for her dedication to her audience and her work on air, earning the title from some of Triad Queen of Radio. The station extended its condolences to Vaughn's family, saying her passion for broadcasting and her connection with listeners left a lasting impact. It's unclear how Vaughn died. Right now, police are investigating a shooting early Sunday morning at Club Orion in Greensboro. Officers responded just after 1 to the club on West Market Street. Investigators say one person suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police did not release any suspect information in this case. Right now, Rockingham County deputies are searching for a missing 60-year-old last seen in Stoneville. Investigators say Lori Ann Plummer walked into the woods near Peckstyle Plant Road Saturday evening. Officials say Plummer has blonde hair and green eyes, was last seen in black pants and a gray hoodie. If you see her, call 911. New at 6, a man is facing murder charges after a fatal crash in Graham last weekend. You might remember we reported that 29-year-old passenger died in a crash last Saturday night. This is on South Main Street and Moore Street. Police say passenger Amani Vaughn died at the scene and that the driver, Tayson Jones, is now charged with second-degree murder as he recovers from serious injuries. His first court hearing is scheduled for April 6th. This evening, a family in Hickory is speaking out after a 7-year-old drowned near a waterfall. This was close to Bruce Miser Park. Investigators say that the child might have been unsupervised and possibly went to the water to help a friend. Dave Flattery has more.
Today, family members of 7-year-old Abel Friday Williams hiked down the trail leading to the small waterfall near Bruce Meisner Park. Investigators say it was at the bottom of the falls in this pond where firefighters found the 7-year-old shortly after 7 last night.
There needs to be awareness that this is very dangerous. Just looking at the situation is very, very, very dangerous. It's heartbreaking.
Deputies say they have received information that the 7-year-old who came to the park with a friend and an adult was possibly unsupervised at the time of the drowning. They say they are investigating those allegations and reports that the 7-year-old may have gone into the water to help his friend.
It breaks my heart because he saved his friend and lost his. He went in behind his friend to save his life and lost his.
The city of Hickory says the drowning did not happen on park property. The area near the waterfall is part of the city's Northwest wastewater treatment pump station. City leaders also say Hickory did not build the path leading to the falls, and it is not intended for public use. This mother was at the falls recently when a man jumped in to save a little girl.
Assisted pulling them out because there was no way they could have gotten out. The rocks are too slick.
Happening right now, Davie County officials are searching for a suspect after a car chase ended with the driver running from deputies, according to investigators. Investigators say the pursuit entered Davie County from Forsyth County along Highway 158. Investigators say the driver ran from the scene while 2 passengers were arrested. Deputies say they are still looking for the driver, urging neighbors near Donry Lane and US 158 to stay inside, lock your doors, and report anything suspicious. New today, North Carolina A&T announced longtime band director Kenneth Ruff will retire in June after more than 40 years in the business. Ruff led the marching band, symphonic band, concert band, and pep bands, mentoring multiple generations of musicians. He earned multiple degrees from North Carolina A&T and UNCG and worked as a band director at several Guilford County schools. The university says they are planning to honor his career. They're going to announce how later in the year. One of the most decorated players at Duke is adding another honor to his resume. Cameron Boozer has been named Player of the Year after a dominant season. WFMY News 2's Bryce Parker has more on the award.
Ben, the Naismith College Player of the Year award is considered the most prestigious in all of college basketball, presented to the most outstanding man and woman that season. It's a tradition that dates all the way back to the 1969 season, and now Cam Boozer cements his name in the history books of all of college basketball. Now, in Boozer's stellar freshman season, he averaged 22.5 points, top 10 in the nation, to go along with over 10 rebounds, which also is among the nation's best. Along the way, Boozer racked up multiple ACC awards like Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year, as well as ACC Tournament MVP. Boozer, who is expected to be a top 5 pick in this year's NBA draft, spoke about how making the decision to come to Duke really paid off.
You know, going there was a hard decision, but it was the best decision I ever made, just because it got me ready for the next level. The media, the preparation, the attention to detail every day. You know, it's a special program. It's why you come to Duke to play on the biggest stage. And I just think I'm more prepared for anything that comes my way in the future. I think Coach Shire did a great job helping us become great young men, great professional athletes. Whatever our future entails, you know, he just does a great job preparing us, showing us how detail-oriented you have to be if you want to be great. So just super thankful for the opportunity I had, the coaches, all the players. You know, we have a great group of guys who were super connected. So it was a great year. Super thankful for it all, and super appreciative to be able to get awards like this.
Boozer now becomes the 9th man from Duke to win the award, putting him side by side with some of the best to ever play at Cameron Indoor Stadium. We'll take a deeper dive into that during our 11 p.m. Sports Report.
And with the NCAA March Madness Championship tomorrow, there's still time to catch Bracket Breakdown on WFMY Plus. Find out who they think is going to win, get the best analysis from some of the biggest names in college sports. It's only on Plus. You're watching right here. Flip over to the Sports tab. Well, that rain finally is drying up out there, Alex, just in time for a good Easter evening.
Yeah, Ben, and guess what? I see the sunshine. And many of you thought I was crazy when I said that tomorrow night you could enjoy maybe the Easter dinner out on the deck. And I'm not kidding. Sunshine, clouds are breaking apart. That front is pushing through, and you can see some of the rain still across parts of the Triad, especially the southern tier, say Asheboro there towards Randolph County, and maybe towards Alamance County and areas eastward, and more towards the Triangle and towards the eastern part of the state, dealing with some of that heavy rain, especially here into the Triangle south of I-40. That's going to be a little bit wet. So if you're traveling that way and heading eastbound into the Triangle, make sure you're slowing down and giving yourself some extra time to get where you're going, because those roads will be wet. Again, most of the thunderstorm activity stayed well east of us where the better setup was. We did see quite a bit of rainfall, though. At least it seemed like it. But how much did we actually get? How does it measure up? Well, first we'll check out the sky cams across the region, because all of them are working and all of them starting to show some of that sunshine as well. Look at how much rainfall we received today. This is pitiful. 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch. Most of us receiving less than 1/4 of an inch. And honestly, y'all, that's it for this week. No more rain chances in the forecast. So we're going to quickly return back to some of that fire danger. Now, as we go into the day tomorrow, what you will notice is it is going to be cooler. And I called for 72 today. We did not get there. We got to 67 because, yes, I know, 6-7. We got there because we saw some of those showers earlier on in the day, and that kind of kept us a little cooler from getting into those low 70s before the main front came through. Tomorrow, yeah, I'm calling for it tomorrow. 67 degrees, cooler. And there you go. It's got the mid to upper 60s across the area tomorrow. It'll still be fairly pleasant across the Triad. Not so much in the mountains. It'll be much cooler. And then we're talking much cooler weather settling in as we go through the next couple of days. So again, mid 60s tomorrow. It will be a chilly start as we're dealing with those highs only in the upper 60s. But beyond that, we are talking much cooler temperatures. Look at these morning lows here, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning in the upper 30s. You know what that means? It means, yes, we could see the potential for some patchy frost across the area. And that could be a widespread patchy frost as well. Kind of crazy to believe. Temperatures staying in the 60s for the first part of the week. Some colder air, especially Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. Temperatures do return back to the mid to upper 70s to lower 80s, and that heat could stick around for a while.
This morning when the rain was coming, I took a look at the 24/7 radar before leaving the house. It's right here on WFMY Plus, powered by the most accurate weather team in the Triad. You have got to see this picture. It's one of the first photos of the moon from Artemis 2 as they hit day 4 into their 10-day mission. The pictures came in this morning just in time for the crew's Easter celebration. I know you're saying that looks like the moon, but it's the far side of the moon that we don't usually get to see. The crew is finding all types of ways to have some fun while they made history, and part of that is by celebrating Easter. NC State grad and mission specialist Christina Koch says they even hid Easter eggs around the ship.
We wanted to take a minute to commemorate the holiday that we have. This time of year is something that many religions and many cultures hold dear. It's a time of emotions such as joy, as well as solemnness, honoring what's going on both in our world and in our religious beliefs. So to commemorate that on board, we did hide a few eggs around the cabin. They were the dehydrated scrambled egg variety, but we're all pretty happy with them.
Meanwhile, the president had his own message on Easter morning as he took to True Social to warn Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or else face, quote, living in hell. The Post suggests even more attacks in the coming days if Iran doesn't make a deal. The threat came as Trump announced an American crew member whose fighter jet was shot down over Iran has now been rescued. Torian Small has more from D.C.
President Trump took to social media again on Easter Sunday to issue a post that contained expletives, warning Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz or face a massive attack. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, the president wrote. You'll be living in hell, just watch, ending his post with praise be to Allah. In an interview with the Associated Press on Sunday, Iran's cultural minister dismissed the threats and called President Trump a, quote, unstable, delusional figure. The president's threats came hours after an announcement that the U.S. Special Operations Forces successfully rescued a U.S. airman shot down in Iran last week. The rescue of the Air Force colonel reportedly hiding in a mountain crevice in Iran is being hailed as an Easter miracle.
The other lesson, I think, is a hard lesson for Iran. First of all, they were not able to find the missing air crewman. Second, they put out a broad appeal to their people to turn him in, reward, asking for all kinds of leads. That does not appear to have been successful.
The rescue of this airman comes as the U.S. enters a 6th week of this conflict with Iran and as lawmakers continue to express concerns about the possibility of a ground war.
Well, certainly there's no circumstance where U.S. ground troops should be sent over to the Middle East. This war is already deeply unpopular for obvious reasons amongst the American people, and the American people are not going to accept ground troops being put into harm's way.
In his Easter speech, Pope Leo called for the faithful to keep their hope in the face of death, which lurks, quote, because of the violence of war that kills and destroys. The pontiff also announced a prayer vigil for peace to be held on April 11th. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
Right now, airports across the country are recovering as TSA workers are starting to get their payback. At PTI, TSA pre-check enrollment is returning even, and WFMY News 2's Giselle Thomas has the details.
Something to put on your calendar as we are getting closer to the summertime. TSA pre-check enrollment is kicking off again at PTI. It's going to be kicking off April the 7th through the 10th. Also, keep these times in your calendar. Early morning, 9 a.m. to noon, and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now remember, you can schedule an appointment, and they also take walk-ins, but just want to put that on your radar.
Well, speaking of radar, it's clearing out tonight. Most of the showers and storms now to the east. It's going to be eastern Carolina's problem and not for us. Now, the other thing you don't see on there, Ben, is a lick of rain for the next 7 days. It looks like a very dry, extended period, potentially for the next 7 to 10 days, maybe even longer than that. So we desperately do need some rain. We didn't get a whole lot from this round, but you can enjoy a pleasant evening out on the deck tonight.
We got enough to wash all the pollen off the cars, though, so that's good.
For now.
For now.
The pollen will make a return.
He'll be back before the end of this newscast.
Yeah, probably.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 11.